What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Average Joe Sports Podcast. As always, this is your host, Don, in LA. I got my boy Albert with me, as always, and I also got some friends with me in the Fantasy Football Network. I got my boy, Fantasy Bald Guy, here with me. What's up, my guy?
What's up, buddy?
How you doing? And I got my boy Flo Joe as well.
What's up?
Awesome, awesome, good stuff. So, this past week or two, last 3 weeks, my boy Fantasy Football Guy set up together this Superflex Dynasty League just for us to get, our football fix, if you will. And so, for the last week or two, we've been kind of doing our slow draft. So we wanted to get the boys together to discuss some of our picks, our analysis, our rationale on why we went that way. But before we get started, as always, thank you guys for listening in. If you're listening on YouTube, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. It definitely helps out with the algorithm and helps get the content out there. So without further ado, let's get to it. As you can see, we have the draft board here for you guys watching. For you guys listening audio only, I'll recite the picks. So, as I mentioned, well, the key thing to remember here is that my boys' league is a super flex dynasty league. So, if you're questioning or wondering why some of the picks may be, it's because we're starting obviously two quarterbacks ideally, and this is a dynasty league, obviously looking towards the future, right? With some teams obviously strategizing and trying to win now. So, without further ado, let's start off. Pick number one, no surprise there, guys, right? One and two probably. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and then my boy fantasy football guy. You're on the clock. You went Justin Herbert. Let me know what was the rationale, or was there any chance you weren't going to go Justin Herbert? What were your thoughts on that?
No, absolutely not. Um, I was hoping Herbie would fall to me. I can't believe. I mean, Mahomes is a good pick, but I mean, nobody's making 65-yard, 70-yard throws in the NFL right now like Herbie. Um, if it was standard redraft league or something like that, man, yeah, I probably would have considered like a more atypical running back. Or, I'm sorry, quarterback like a I love Flo Joe knows that I love Lamar. He knows that I love those running quarterbacks. It's just they get more, man. They get you more points per week up in the 20s, where the average quarterback gets you around 17 points per week. So, but with Herbie's pick, this is dynasty, man. I could have Herbie for 10 years. Say we all stay together and keep doing this for year after year. It's a good league. It's productive. Everybody keeps trading and hustling. I could have him for 10 years. Whereas the history of running quarterbacks, they don't last so long, man. They get hurt. They get hurt, and it's a known thing. They really do. They end up getting hurt. Where I hate to say that because anybody in the NFL is a hit away from an injury, and that's just the reality. But I can have Herbie for 10 years, man. I really can. He's got Eckler. He's got an amazing backfield. He's going to have another awesome defense that they just picked up everybody, on the west side to be able to bolster them, to keep them chains. They're going to be, I think they can probably win the AFC West this year over the Chiefs. So he's without a doubt my number one pick. Quarterback league, that's easy. I was kind of regretting not taking Jonathan Taylor. A lot of people know he's my tried and true, but I kind of looked at the board after the draft and I saw some of the value that fell in the quarterback range. Like Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford, I probably could have nabbed later. Still taking Jonathan Taylor, but once again, we don't know if Hurts is going to be around in 3-4 years. Stafford could retire in the next 2 to 4 years. So I wanted to lock in my dynasty quarterback for many years to come.
Absolutely, and it made a ton of sense. I think a lot of us probably looked at 1-1 to 1-3, which pretty much set in stone. Maybe the 1-3, maybe there was going to be an outside chance, maybe a Lamar Jackson or something like that, but not too much of a surprise 1-3. But we did have a surprise at 1-4. Money Badger, my boy Albert, you were on the clock. You elected to go Deshaun Watson. I understand. I think we all understand the upside there, but obviously there's some risk there. So talk to me your thought process. Why Deshaun Watson?
Well, ideally, I was trying to trade up to 1-3. That wasn't going to happen, and I was kind of set in my head that I was going to go to Deshaun Watson. So I was trying to trade back to like the 7th, 6th spot because I knew Murray and Lamar they would go probably, and even Burrow after his Super Bowl run, he would go top 5. But I like Deshaun Watson. Every full season he plays, he finished top 5 in fantasy. He's only 26 years old and only like a year older than Lamar. He does have that legal situation, maybe a suspension coming, but this is for the long haul. This isn't just redraft for 1 year. You got to think long term. The Browns invested a lot in him, a lot of money, played a lot of picks. So you got to think that they probably know a little bit more than the public do. I think a big suspension. If they might be suspended for 4 games, 6 games, but it was a swing I was willing to take. It's my first Dynasty draft. Wanted to get a little funny with it, but I didn't think it was a big swing. A lot of people see him going to round 2, but 104, it is a little much. Ideally, I would like to take him 108, 109, but nothing really seemed to work out with trades. So I just stuck with my guy, Deshaun Watson. Man, he's a pocket passer pretty much, but he can scramble and get you yards, kind of like Russell Wilson. He's a little bit more durable than like Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray. I'm a big Kyler Murray fan. He starts off hot every year, but kind of tapers off towards the end. So I love Deshaun Watson with the Browns. I think he's a potential top 4, top 5 quarterback for the next year or two.
Right. Yeah, like I said, definitely understand the upside there. Solid young quarterback when he is playing, when he's on the field. He's one of the top handful of quarterbacks in the league, right? So understand the upside there. And then obviously, next pick, we had a Joe Burrow, which, isn't too much of a surprise. Maybe you see Lamar Jackson probably goes before him. These picks probably could have been swapped. But then we had, Joe Burrow at 1-5, and then 1-6, my boy Flojo. Lamar Jackson, was that always your guy? Were you flirting with maybe a guy like Kyler Murray, maybe a first non-quarterback?
So I was pumped. To be honest, man, D-Watt was definitely going to be my second pick. I don't know if he would have lasted anyway, but I play nowhere, so I don't even know how many dynasty leagues I'm in now. But I like to diversify a little bit, bro, because I go all in, and Kyler was my guy. I went Kyler, Cam Akers, 1-2 in my first 2 dynasties, I think 2 years ago. So I love Kyler, I love Burrow, but with the way this league is set up, right? 7.5 yards for a point for rushing. And I think you get a X amount of points, 1 point or 0.5 for a rushing attempt. Lamar is literally the cheat code in this league, and I'm surprised he didn't go 1. To be honest, I don't know if people were thinking about all that because I thought about it after. But I'll pump, man. Lamar fell, and I think he's the cheat code in this league because he's like a running back QB in a super flex combo where I literally think he could outscore Josh Allen pretty easily, to be honest.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. I think just to piggyback of what Fantasy Ball Guy said earlier, it is a concern that he is smaller in stature, right? He's not built solid like a Deshaun Watson or a Josh Allen. But you hit it. If he's going to be healthy, if he's going to be running wild, they're releasing him. They're unleashing him. Then of course, yeah, I can definitely see the upside there. He can definitely be quarterback 1 in this particular league. So.
Oh yeah. He's essentially a running back. He can be a running back 2 in a
Yes.
Yep, exactly. So definitely get. So honestly, with the first couple picks, I guess Deshaun Watson may have been the only curveball slightly, but and maybe you could have swapped Burrow and Jackson, but this is probably going to course, right? And then next we had Kyler Murray at 1-7, and then finally the first position player, Fantasy Football Guy's favorite guy, his boy Jonathan Taylor, picked 1-8. Is that about where you guys seen Jonathan Taylor going in your mock drafts, or do you think he should have went higher, lower?
In a 2 quarterback league, that's probably pretty average right now because everybody who's a dynasty, a seasoned dynasty player knows get your dang quarterback, man. Get that guy. So that's probably average. Like I said, after I went back and looked at it, I thought about, man, dang, I probably should have taken Jonathan Taylor just because I love to have him on all my teams. But once again, the shelf life of running backs is if you get 3-4 good years out of them, you're lucky these days. You don't see these running backs hanging around for 10 years like Barry did or Tiki Barber or Emmett Smith did anymore. You just don't see it. And I want that tried and true 10 years with Herbie in a dynasty league that's captain has to con, man. Steering the ship for the next decade.
Right. And then so as you've seen, that sparked the non-quarterbacks going, right? Jonathan Taylor went 1-8. Gucci went Jamar Chase 1-9, which I loved. Obviously, I love Jamar Chase, but I favored Justin Jefferson, which led to my 110 pick. This honestly was my favorite guy of the non-quarterback, so I love that value at 110. But sliding down to the next pick, Stephon Diggs, probably the first real true surprise of the draft. I think we all can agree on that, right? Stephon Diggs going 111. This was, and you could probably did X amount, a plethora of mock drafts. Diggs probably wasn't going in the first round. So I don't understand the thinking there. Maybe he knows something that I don't know. But Flo, this is your opportunity. Talk to me, Diggs first round. Did you foresee that? I don't know if
Hell no. Am I on? Do you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, I said hell no, bro. I mean, look, my man, obviously that was the curveball. No one saw that coming. I don't know anybody that would have made that pick except for maybe him. To give him a little slack though, I think this was his first Dynasty league. So maybe my man was caught off guard. I know he's from the East Coast, so I get it. Get your guys, you're a little biased, but my man Diggs has got to be what, like 28? Like this is not a typical Dynasty pick and not something I can co-sign. But ultimately, bro, like, look, man, I always like to say, like, if you got a guy and you like your guy and you believe, like, to me, I don't know about you guys. I'm like I told you, man, I'm already, I'm degenerate status, man. I'll watch 12 hours of football on Sunday. And when I'm watching games, bro, I want to watch the dudes that I like, right? Like that to me just makes fantasy so much better. Obviously, we want to win chips, man, but like I love football and I love players. And if I can get dudes on my squad that I believe in and I can root for, and then, write them off when they don't do anything wrong and then try to sell them to Baldy, like, it's all good.
Yeah. I don't think you couldn't have thrown me a better alley-oop in terms of getting guys that you can root for. Just kind of segueing into my pick. Widely known that I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, unfortunately. So my next pick, it goes to the sentiment of you have to get your quarterback, right? With Dak, I mean, obviously he's older than pretty much all the quarterbacks that have been picked so far, but he's still on the right side of 30. I believe he's 28. He'll be 29 at the start of the season. And it's still, I mean, even all things considered, Amari Cooper's not there, but there's still a tremendous amount of weapons. You got Lamb there. You got Gallup there. Obviously, you got two running backs there as well, and Zeke and Pollard. Obviously, the O-line is kind of being revamped as we speak. But Dak, I thought it was the right pick. Would I, do I foresee him probably early second round? Probably, but considering the nature of this is a super flex league, I talk to my boy Money all the time. Lance, I don't know. I probably would have been forced to pick Lance, which I like the upside. I think he's going to be good, but it does scare me to pick someone that early that hasn't really played. He started 2 games. So and then all the rumors. I mean, Jimmy G's still there. All the rumors of is he living up to the hype in terms of his practice reps and whatnot. So yeah, Dak was my pick. Probably not a sexy pick, but I mean that was the guy that I felt that was needed at that particular time. Then we go Najee Harris at the turn, and then Aaron Rodgers probably. So my boy Andrew picked Diggs in the first round. Then he went Aaron Rodgers. Can somebody please tell me? I mean, I get if you want to win now, but it seems that Aaron Rodgers probably would have been the pick 2 rounds later, maybe if you're gonna even go that route. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts?
I don't know what he was thinking. At least he noticed it was a super flex and got a quarterback in the first 2 rounds. But yeah, he maybe 5 years tops. He's MVP, former MVP the past couple years. So he's playing at top level. But wish he went a little younger. But I mean, at least he got a quarterback early. Looks like he didn't get a quarterback for the next few rounds. Right. But yeah, he got good players. It's not like he didn't get bad players. Diggs is a baller, and Aaron Rodgers is a baller. So I commend him for that.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the nail. Like it would have. I guess the good thing is that he got a quarterback. It was a huge reach right there. But I guess it could have been worse if he got another ready now non-quarterback, right? At least he got Rodgers. Rodgers isn't Tom Brady. He is older, but he's not Tom Brady. He probably has 3 to 5 years left. We'll see. And then next, Russell Wilson. We all knew that I'd made the pre-draft trade with Trust. So obviously he's in completely win now mode. So Russell Wilson and Najee Harris, definitely a good start there. And then Trey Lance. We talked about Trey Lance going some point early second because of the tremendous upside there. So we'll see what happens there. Kupp, obviously a great grab there in the early second. Then Christian McCaffrey. Then we had my boy Flojo. You're back on the clock. You picked Javonte Williams. Give me the rationale there. Were you always going to go him as your turn creeped up? Were you thinking elsewhere?
Yo, pumped that Javonte fell, bro. I was so high on Javonte last year, man. You break down his metrics and, force missed tackles. Everything that he does with the ball in his hand, man, is 100% special. And obviously the Melvin Gordon news, put the kibosh on the legit top 3 RB this year. Could he still finish top 10? I believe so. I think Denver with Russ, the scoring opportunities, the way you would assume that offense would be way better than it was last year. Like that to me is a given. So more scoring opportunities. They should be a 60-40 split. Melvin Gordon isn't a scrub. He never has been. So he's going to see the field. And that part does suck because we're not doing the 100% unleash. But Javonte's my boy, man. He was since last year. I was super pumped. Finally got a Dynasty share. So yeah, man, I was actually at the beach, man, when we were drafting, and I was doing a little, fake backflip off the sand, more like a back.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely the hype was there last year, obviously, right? And then Melvin Gordon still being there, taking some reps there. But I mean, this guy was super young, like a Brees Hall, coming out of college. I mean, he's what? He just turned 22, maybe. So I think in the worst case scenario, he shares some reps again. Maybe perhaps preserving himself for the inevitable. Finally, he gets all the shares in 2023, and he's only going to be what, maybe 23 to start next year. I think everyone should be ecstatic to have a Javonte Williams middle of the second round. So definitely get the rationale there. And then another younger running back that has great PPR appeal is Swift going to Swami next in the second round, and then Money Badger, you're on the clock here with Kyle Pitts, another super young guy. Explain the rationale there. Were you always going to go Pitts, or what was your thinking?
I see Pitts go at the turn. He goes between pick 16 and 14. I did not believe he'll fall to me, even though it's not tight end premium. I didn't have any shares of Kyle Pitts last year, most of my redrafts, and I wasn't really sure for him because I know rookie tight ends don't really explode, don't have great seasons. I feel like he was getting a little overdrafted in redrafts last year, but he's a Dynasty sweetheart, man. He's probably a top 5 positional player in Dynasty. You got the 2 receivers, Chase, Jefferson, Taylor, Javonte, D Swift, pick all right there. I probably might have picked Swift or Javonte if they fell to me, but they got picked up 1-2. So then my last decision was Eckler or Pitts. If I would have picked Eckler, he's turning 28 next week. I feel like if I would have picked a running back right there, I would have been pigeonholed into like a win now team, and I had it like my shelf life would have been a little shorter with that running back.
There we go.
Now. So I ended up going Pitts. I mean, he's a baller. I never really focused on tight ends that early, but I think the best is yet to come for him, man. He's only 21 years old. I know his quarterback situation is pretty shitty, but I think it's only up for him, man. He's a baller, man. Kyle Pitts, I was pumped to get him there. Didn't think it would happen, but that's where I went, man. Kyle Pitts, that's at the fucking almost at the end of the second round.
Yeah, I think by picking Kyle Pitts, all the points, like obviously uber talented and super young. I mean, I think you avoid probably the annual fantasy football headache, if you will, of trying to find out where the fuck you're going to play a tight end. I mean, finding a tight end every year. Yeah. It's one of the most frustrating, if not the most frustrating position to fill every year. So getting a guy as talented as Kyle Pitts, 21 years old, obviously, we'll see what they develop in terms of quarterback. Mariota's the bridge quarterback. We'll see what happens there. But, I mean, you can, if you way, it's kind of set it and forget it.
I think flexibility too. If I would have won like an older running back like Eckler, Henry, C-Mac, I was tempted to go C-Mac there, but I just maintained a little more flexibility, not going running back in the second round unless one of those super young guys wants to be, or even Brees Hall. I could have reached a little bit for him, but I want Watson, Pitts. I love the 1-2 that dynamic duo right there. I was pumped to get him.
Yeah. So Kyle Pitts, and then we got my boy Baldy back on the clock. You pick Austin Eckler. Were you always going to go Eckler? I was screaming. No, I talked to my boy before you. Sorry, let me cut you off. But before you picked him, I was talking to my boy Money, and I was in his ear, texting him. I was, firing off these texts. Don't let him get. He's got Herbie. Don't let him get him. But obviously, it made sense to get Kyle Pitts there. So talk to me, Baldy. Eckler. Was he always your guy, considering you had Herbie? Were you thinking about maybe getting a mix in, Devontae, anybody else?
No, once I didn't take Jonathan Taylor. I pretty much, and other than Henry, guy hurt the only part of his body last year. He couldn't work out. He's got a ton of carries under his belt. Eckler was always my pick, man. And I love, a lot of people love to pair that quarterback wide receiver duo. I love to pair the quarterback with the running back duo. That's how you really, really optimize both their values. Man, I don't know. I can't believe you guys let me get Eckler all the way that far in the second round. Two quarterback or not, bro. Like, there's a couple of guys that are interchangeable to finish number one this year. Jonathan Taylor can do it. Derrick Henry can do it. Eckler can do it. McCaffrey can do it again, of course. But to get Eckler all the way in the back of the second round, I was like, the dude from Home Alone, running around my house, shaking my hands up and down. I couldn't believe he fell that far. So I just couldn't. I was very, very happy with that pick, with that pairing, 100%.
Right. And so were there any worries at all? Obviously, there's been some rumors that, with his size, his volume, his workload, obviously they drafted, another talented running back. They've, had Justin Jackson, and they've had Kelly, I believe, and a couple other guys that have filled in. Was there any worry at all that, the volume would decrease from a rushing attempt perspective at all? Or
No, not at all. Not yet. I think Kyron Williams went there. Is that the guy?
No, it was not. He went to Arizona Cardinals.
Spiller, Isaiah Spiller.
Yep.
No, not just yet.
Send me a trade, Baldy.
He's had a couple other good. He's had a couple other good running backs, man. Behind him, Justin Jackson came in and filled in for him a couple years ago. Right. Joshua Kelly came in, and everybody who's on that field produces, but Eckler's that 3-down role right now. He's that 3-down role. He has that spot. He's the most familiar with Justin Herbert. He's got Herbert's back, literally, and I am not worried about that position at all. I'm not worried about him doing work. I'm very happy with that. He fell all the way to the back of the second round. I really am.
Right.
Hold on, Don. Before you go forward, you got to be a little worried, bro. Third, fourth round draft capital, Isaiah Spiller. Yes.
There we go.
On tape, he's legit, right? My man looks faster than a 4.6. He's a big body. He's gonna have a roll, Baldy. Eckler's as old as you. I would definitely get in my DMs ASAP, bro, because Spiller is a guy you need.
No way. Look, college is essentially playing against glorified high school dudes. When you come to the NFL, it's a whole different game.
Come on, bro.
He hasn't even played a down yet. He hasn't even touched the gridiron yet. He's in a little side arena somewhere right behind a high school gymnasium, getting reps in, posting these YouTube, TikTok videos. Get on the field, bro. Get some reps. Get that timing down. The NFL is a whole different speed. I am not worried. If Isaiah Spiller comes in and does anything, it's going to be like week 14, because they now have a 17-week NFL season. The Chargers are definitely going to make the playoffs, so they're probably going to start saving their players 100%. Being Eckler, being Herbie, they're going to start sitting people like majority of the teams that make the playoffs are. So in that regard, yes, I will probably look to trade for Spiller or something like that to have a handcuff, which I am sorry I didn't get that handcuff. I wish I would have.
This is recorded, right, Don? You got this on record,
absolutely.
Right? So,
yeah,
okay.
absolutely. And then also, another thing to worry about too, he did have some soft tissue issues as well. So thing to monitor. But honestly, I think when it's all said and done, that was the right pick. I think it's arguably the most lethal quarterback running back tandem in terms of PPR fantasy value.
CMC was on the board there, by the way.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want
that. Should have been consideration.
There's too many.
No. C-Mac was picked already. C-Mac was picked by Torquay.
But like this, let's put this in there. I wouldn't have picked him anyways. I mean, there's so many questions with that offense.
You don't like him though, that's why.
No, I do love him. I do like C-Mac. I do love him. I just, there's injury-prone players. There's not injury-prone players from my point of view, and he right now has become recently an injury-prone player. Maybe because they just ran him into the dirt, bro, 2 years ago. Like, what dude was on the field 97% of the time, over 400 something snaps, maybe more. It was just dirty, bro. Like, I mean, who can come into the NFL and fill that role? Nobody can come in and fill that CMC role. I don't know if Sam Darnold's going to be the quarterback or Matt Corral. I have, is Robbie Anderson going to be there? There's so many questions in that offense, whereas the Chargers offense is locked and loaded, ready to win the AFC West for the first time in 13 years.
Right. So we're gonna move
I ain't mad
along.
at you, bro. Like, yeah, keep it moving.
So yeah, we'll move along. Mark Andrews was picked as the second tight end at the end of the second round. Then we went to Derrick Henry. Obviously, so this team here, I love the first 3 or 4 picks. I absolutely love in terms of like win now. Okay, if you get it, you have Josh Allen, you have that young quarterback forever, and then you got a Henry, and then he went Devontae Adams. So I think he started off really well. And then Jalen Hurts went third. That was I don't know. That seemed a little bit early for me for Hurts standard. But he's also, I mean, in theory, he's a guy that could raise up, right, with all those rushing attempts, if you will. And then Baldy, you went Joe Mixon here. Talk to me with picking Herbie, picking Eckler. Were you ever thinking about potentially flirting with and getting a guy like AJ Brown? I believe you're our Eagles fan. Were you flirting with getting a Lamb or a Brown or any other running back? Was Mixon always?
No, I'm not touching Lamb with a 15-foot pole this year. Not with his ADP right now being 22 overall. Like, there's absolutely no way. AJ Brown, would love to have him on my team, but like Joe said earlier about Lamar, the way this scoring setup is structured, 7.5 yards per carry. Joe, was it 0.20 per rushing attempt? I want another running back, bro. Like, I want to bolster my running backs. Joe Mixon had 95% snap share last year. I think he had 93% snap share the year before. This is the best his offense has been for him. He's got, I mean, it might be a passing high volume offense, but he ain't seeing 8-man boxes. He's just like, he's the opposite of Jonathan Taylor. Where Jonathan Taylor's seeing nothing but 8-man boxes, still did what he did. Joe Mixon's going to have wide open holes. They got Penny Sewell last year, so they improved their offensive line. I think he's going to be a top 5 running back easy as long as he can stay healthy. He's never shown concerns of injury. He's been a little banged up here and there. He showed some. We were worried about him towards the end of the year last year, where he kind of sat out a game or whatever. But he always comes back, man. He's a strong runner. He's a pure runner. I've always comped him to Le'Veon Bell in a way. The way he runs, he's very patient. Got great vision. And like I said, I love that. I love that pick right there. Backing Allen up with Eckler and Joe Mixon. I could not have been happier, bro. I really couldn't.
Yeah, I think Joe Mixon was a solid pick. And then again, reiterating your scoring settings, right, with the rushing attempts, and it just made sense to kind of double dip in the running back position. I kind of wish, Albert, you can attest to this. I wish I was in your league a few years ago, because I was pounding the payment for Joe Mixon when I think I picked him the first year before he broke out. And another fun fact, in Sacramento, we always watch fantasy. We always watch football at the same bar, and we would always sit. The area we would sit next to is next to Joe Mixon's uncle. So it was kind of cool. I had him in like that breakout year. His uncle would always like be rooting extremely loud. I think you met him before, Albert, right? At Bar West.
Yeah.
He'd always be like,
cool
"Oh, that's my nephew. Go nephew." So just a little fun fact about Joe Mixon. But yeah, I think that was the right pick. And then Albert, money, you went AJ Brown next pick. Talk to me. Were you always going to go A Brown? Were you flirting with another receiver or running back? Dalvin Cook was
honestly,
still there. Breece Hall.
It was a 4-man race. Once Jalen Hurts, I was thinking about him, and once Joe Mixon left 1-2 again, it was down to either AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb. That was a hard one. I could have probably taken all day to choose. Looking back, I probably would have went CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown. Jalen Hurts is not a known throwing quarterback. He has a little bit more of a targets, so a little more starts to come by. You got Devontae, you got the tight end Hurts.
Goddard, Quez Watkins, I believe.
CeeDee Lamb, he's a little more passing prone, and you got Gallup, and then his boy Cooper just left to the Browns, so he's going to get more targets there. Looking back, I probably should have CeeDee Lamb, but honestly, it was a 50-50. I always end up with one of AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb almost every year. I'm not mad at the choice, but I probably should have leaned CeeDee Lamb. I don't think I was going to go running back here just because I have about 8 guys left in that same tier. I knew 1 or 2 of them were going to come back around to me, knowing some of the end of the line was going to get a quarterback because they haven't got a quarterback yet, or even like a receiver. So I knew running back would fall on me. So I wanted to get my pick of the litter of my top receiver, which was either AJ Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Want AJ Brown. He's locked down for 4 years. Just on a nice, juicy contract with the Eagles. He's a beast, man. I feel like they're gonna make him a star. Even though he's already a star, but I feel like if he's in the ball, hopefully a little bit more. But it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be a lot of targets to go around. I know the Eagles were kind of like a run-first team too, a little bit towards the end of the season. They were beginning of last year. They were kind of pass it. It didn't really work out, so they kind of ran it more. But AJ Brown, bro, beast. I love what I got there. Watson, Pitts, Brown, and then coming back to the 4th and 5th, I wanted to pound the running back position a little more. So.
Right. So yeah, we got AJ Brown, and Swami went, got Stafford there to help out with his win now efforts. Yeah, so Swami went there. Just recap: Swami went Burrow first, Swift, and then he went Stafford. So obviously this team is win now with Stafford, but at that point he still has flexibility for long term as well with Burrow and Swift, and then Lamb finally. Flojo, you got Lamb. Obviously money was flirting with that. Was Lamb always your pick? Were you, thinking about going Hall or Cook there? Or
I thought about Dalvin for a second, to be honest. And money, bro. Hey, sounds like you got some buyer's remorse, homie. Go ahead and send me a deal too, bro. I stay open.
Hey,
Joe's like that. Joe's like that tweet for Walmart, bro. 24/7.
If you send me a second, if you send me next year's second, I'll think about it. Since I picked AJ Brown
for who?
Lamb, right? For Lamb, AJ
That's
Brown, CD Lamb.
You should be sending me the second, bro. That's the point.
No, no way.
There is no one for one with Joe. He wants it to get real creative.
Hey,
we'll see. My line's open. There's an open dialogue here.
We can talk, and then I know Don wants them too. So maybe I'll put you guys against each other and see what I can cook up. Because I know Don wants that stack. But look, CeeDee Lamb's a dog. I don't know why Baldy's hating so much. Let's be real, man. Like top 5 passing offense, 120 vacated targets. He's the alpha one there. I do like Schultz a lot though. But CeeDee Lamb's the real deal, bro. And he's going to get it done this year. To me, in a dynasty, it's a beautiful pick. I did consider Dalvin just because of the league settings, but I'm not a big Dalvin fan, man. I feel like Madison was one of my targets and I missed, but the writing's on the wall with Dalvin, man. It's only a matter of time. And I think that, I don't know if he's going to last this year, dude. And I just faded him because of that, because it's a dynasty. Pumped to get CD. I think I got 2 out of 5 shares in dynasty leagues right now with CD. So, hey, money, bro. I'm always here to talk, bro. Let me know.
Money, don't do it, bro. He was the real deal, and he was the real deal where they in a state where they grew a lot of corn, bro. Listen, did you guys see? And you're a Cowboy fan, Don.
Right.
Like, did you guys? You saw his connection with Dak last year, his drops, his route running. I hope he learned some route running from Cooper, who is one of the best in the game at route running. And I'm kind of a Cooper hater. I called he was finishing 27th last year. I got so much hated on. He finished 24th. He's just too inconsistent. He's up. He'll get you 20 points one week. He'll get you 2 points the next week. I want nothing to do with that. I want that guy that gets me the 10 to 12 to 13, 14 points every week. That's how you win fantasy football, consistency. So too much remains to be seen for me. Like I said, with his ADP 22 overall, when is he going to be that guy? He's hyper talented. We know he is.
This year. What do you mean? It's not a matter of when. If he doesn't get it done this year, then guess what? We all miss. Straight up.
It takes 3 years to break out. So I'm hoping, I am hoping, like you said, he took this offseason, him and Dak are getting that connection down. I think Cooper probably took, more of the limelight. Hopefully he did learn from Cooper last year. He corrected their mistakes. Because I was closer sitting on my couch watching the game at home from catching those balls than he was on the field. Seriously. So I hope that he corrects that, man. Because for that draft capital, he needs the ball out this year.
Yeah, I remember seeing the frustration. It seemed like they weren't on the same page. Definitely there was an issue with drops. I'm hoping with volume, if I can be able to trade for him with volume, it makes sense. And I think he's kind of at the end of its tier a little bit in terms of his age, the quarterback play. Because then after that, you got DK Metcalf. You see the question marks you have at the quarterback position for him. Obviously, he's still young as well, but we'll get to that.
Carroll says Drew Lock's that guy.
as a politician answer. So yeah, next we got Brees Hall. I think that was kind of the first guy like wondering, okay, when is Brees Hall going to be picked on the board? So Torquay State started off Kyler Murray, C Mac, and Brees Hall. So
I was
he's
a little surprised to see how these first 2 rounds played out. It was a little more veteran heavy. I was surprised to see him go in the 3rd round. I thought he was going to make it like the 4th or 5th, but it's appropriate value for what I've seen. But I thought, looking at how this was turning out in like live action, I thought it'd be a little later, but it's appropriate value, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. And then Dalvin Cook finally go at 3.8, I believe, to Any Given Sunday. He went Taylor, he went Cup, and then he went Dalvin Cook. So in theory, this is, obviously you need your quarterbacks, but pretty strong in terms of non-quarterbacks there. About the best you can get in terms of non-quarterback for the first 3 picks. And then Gucci went Waddle with Chase already, Trey Lance. I would think, obviously we don't have him here. I would think he probably would have gone to Nick Chubb there. But obviously his team is built for the long haul, right? He made a decision in the 2nd round in getting Trey Lance, Chase. Waddle probably was a smart decision there. So Chubb was probably not in his window. And then next I went Debo. Obviously we know what's going on with the 49ers, the dilemma at quarterback, the dilemma exclusively to Samuel and the 49ers. But I thought at this particular point, it just made sense. I was actually surprised that he didn't go a little earlier than this. And some, there are some concerns from all the things that I just listed. There's some concerns with, some of the soft tissue injuries that he's had. And are they going to be, there's some concerns of, what he wants to do and whether they're going to honor that in terms of he wants to be more of a true wide receiver. Is he still going to be, used as a Swiss Army knife in terms of all over the field, getting that rushing attempts to, get that boost for the scoring tailored for this particular league. But I think at this point, late 3rd, I think that was a great value there for Debo at 310. And then Nick Chubb. I love talking about this team. So we got Aaron Rodgers, and then Nick Chubb. So okay, all things considered, was there a lot of reaches? Yes, I don't think Chubb was so much of a reach, but Diggs, Aaron Rodgers. But I mean, in theory, this is a good win now team. And it gets funnier, too, as we keep going on. But this is a good now team.
It gets funnier.
He said funnier.
Yes, it really does.
He said funnier.
Yeah. Then we got Tyreek Hill. This is a team that obviously I'm watching because I traded for his first pick. And I think he ended up one of the best win now teams. He has Tyreek Hill now. He's got Harris. He's got Russell Wilson. And then next he went Travis Kelce. So I can already see, unless something crazy happens, this is going to be according to the format, he's going to be 4 to 9 probably. According to the so he's got a definitely great win now team with Hill, Kelce, Wilson, and then Harris. And then we have our boy Andrew. He went Keenan Allen at in the 4th round. So just honoring the same system. Win now, fuck age, and just. So Keenan Allen, great. I mean, obviously, PPR, he's a monster in terms of route running. He doesn't drop a lot of passes. He's had some injury issues, but you can see the thinking here in terms of following the win now, just model, I guess, if you will. And then next, my pick here, I don't have a running back, guys, at this point. So I went Justin Jefferson, obviously. Then I went Dak. Then I went Debo here. This was hard for me. Kamara was never part of this discussion. Neither was ETN. But Barkley, the upside is great for both guys. But I almost flirted with getting a Barkley here. And Barkley's one of those guys where either you love it, you bought into it, bought into like this comeback story, or you don't. And I just couldn't get sold. I just wasn't the offense, and I just couldn't get on. So I got Gibson, and then Barkley went next with Gucci. Preferred. Obviously, he's sold, and then Kamara here. So again, here, Any Given Sunday, I think he was pounding the pavement, saying that we were not, that we were basically too aggressive on quarterbacks. But at this point, I thought that at some point he needed to get a quarterback. But he went Kamara here, so his team is Taylor, Cook, and Kamara. What are your guys' thoughts on this before do you think that he should have went quarterback a little bit sooner here? Do you like this?
Yeah. I probably would have reached for a quarterback. Who did he end up with? I think that was the team that ended up with Brady, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went Fields and Tom Brady.
Oh wait, yeah. I mean, he ended up with Fields. That ended up all right. He didn't reach for Tittle all that much. At the end of the day, he ended up okay with Brady and Fields, kind of an older guy, and then one of the top 5 young prospects of quarterbacks.
Right.
But Kamara, probably with Taylor, Cup, and Cook, that makes sense. It's a higher ceiling, but I mean, he's got like some trouble going on, kind of like Watson. I don't hate it. I like it. I can see the vision.
Right.
Yeah. I can see it. His team's pretty solid, man. Especially with Brady. Brady's going to probably be gone after this year. Probably. Who knows? But
Cook and Kamara are the top 5 PPR backs in the redraft.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So he's got 3 of probably the top 5 backs, and if top 3 in Cup in terms of receiver in redraft too as well. So yeah, obviously solid team. Travis Etienne. Are you guys a believer in Etienne? Obviously, we know they have James Robinson there, but torn Achilles. Some even though he had production there, some think that was kind of he was an overachiever. Etienne was always going to be the guy. Do you think Etienne is a guy that kind of takes the reins and takes all 3 downs in terms of this year? Are you guys buying into the Travis Etienne train?
We'll see. I mean, James Robinson won't be back yet, right? It'll be him and that rookie Snoop Connor. I don't know if Etienne will be even like off of the IR to begin the season with, but coming into the league, a rookie, like I was high on him, and then that injury happened. That kind of just like kind of rain on the parade. But I'm glad that their coach is gone. Meyer, Peterson can use him a little better. Trevor Lawrence could definitely use him as an outlet. But I like the Etienne. It's a little older as a prospect, but I think there's definitely worse decisions. I like Etienne. Definitely worse decisions out there.
I mean, having Peterson be the Eagles coach for a couple of years, one thing I know about the guy is he does not stick with one running back. He's going to use 2, 3. He's going to use 3 running backs all year long. So being that guy, I mean, is that his first running back?
This is third.
No, he went Breece Hall and C-Mac.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's got some question marks there. Breece Hall, man, was slated to be like the number 1, but he went to the Jets, man. They already got Michael Carter. So that's tough. Yeah. That's a tough running back core to kind of, open up with. It really is.
Right. And just to get it, we'll go to, before we go to Flojo's pick, we're just going to do top 5 rounds here. We're at 42-minute mark. And then after that, we'll discuss your favorite pick for the remaining rounds from your teams. So next we had T. Higgins. Flojo, talk to me. Were you always going to go T. Higgins? Obviously, you started off Jackson. Then you went Williams. You went receiver and Lamb, and then receiver again with Higgins.
T. Higgins, bro, let's be real. I know everyone in this league was celebrating this pick too. Probably the sexiest pick of the draft. Okay. Mm-hmm. T. Money Higgins, the dude's a straight baller. He's still young, on a pass first offense, connected to Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase is going to get a lot of coverages rolled to him now because he presented as the alpha as he should. In my opinion, bro, I think this is one of my favorite picks on my squad. But real quick though, I want to go back and I want to ask you today, Don. You didn't get Barkley, and now Gibby with the news of Brian Robinson looking a little more sketchy. Do you wish you took Saquon?
No, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, I didn't like the McKissick, him getting re-signed, of course, but Barkley, I don't know. I mean, he had a great first year, right? Obviously. And dude is built like a tank, right? But the injuries do concern me. And the Giants offense. I mean, obviously at present day, he's not traded yet. I mean, there's been rumors, swirling around, but he's not traded yet, and he's constantly getting older. We talked about the running back window. I mean, I don't know. I don't have buyer's remorse yet. Maybe I will. We'll see how the season starts or as it gets closer. But I'm feeling fine. I'm fine with the pick.
We just can't let Baldy talk about Saquon because my man jinxed him so bad last year. I think he did it purposely despite me, but I just recently bought Saquon in a dynasty. And look, here's my logic, bro. And here's the reason why if I were you and the way that it's going to shake out, yes, Carson Wentz and Dimes, probably comparable. I still have Dimes as a better QB right now, especially with that run threat. I think it's going to open up lanes for Saquon. The biggest thing is Dable from the Bills, bro. Like that coach coming over and shifting the culture and the focus. The first 2 picks are great. I don't know about that cat from Kentucky, though. That was pretty terrible.
Wandale.
Yeah, I'm hoping with the talent, like, and everyone thinks Kenny Golladay forgot how to play football, right? Kenny Golladay is a beast, bro. Like, and I feel like that dude, there's still some life left in him, bro. Like, I don't think he's left for dead yet. I just think there's something that can happen with the Giants this year. They could win that division. I know you're a Cowboys fan, and it should be the Cowboys division to lose. But there's just something about like telling me about the Giants being one of those teams that you're going to write off that are going to have a decent season. Maybe I'm wishful thinking, but what are your thoughts there?
I can see that.
Absolutely not. I'm not buying it. It's this division will go through Philly or Dallas.
Yeah. They just got rid of Bradbury. I mean, dumbest move ever. I mean, they came out looking like a shiny Buffalo nickel out of the draft, and then they argumentatively let their best player on the whole team athletically go. I mean, other than Saquon, but I don't.
I mean, did Bradbury even do anything last year? I don't even remember that guy even doing anything last year.
Yeah, he was a fourth cornerback overall.
He was ranked. He was rated number 4 by PFF or what?
Yeah, number 4 DB.
Yeah, and that tells you right there. I am a believer in Tony, probably more than most people. I believe that he'll have a nice year. I believe into some of the hype of some of those games that he went off, right? I know he started off the year with some some injuries going in. I think he had COVID like a week or 2 before, pretty gnarly COVID before the week, and then I forgot where he injured it, hamstring or something, where he missed a few games, right? So
he balled out against the Cowboys, right?
Yeah, which is not a surprise. The Cowboys secondary is everybody balls out against the Cowboys secondary. Tony, I believe in, but the Giants, I'm not a believer in their team at all. I think they're kind of a mess, honestly. They got Evan Neal. I like the first 2 picks, right? Thibodeau. I like the picks, right? But I think that organization is kind of a mess. I'm worried about Philly as a Cowboys fan. But next pick, we got Swami at Met with DK Metcalf. We seen Metcalf seem like he pretty much picked up where he left off when Russell Wilson was out. I don't know if he's going to be quarterback proof long term with Drew Lock, but we understand the thinking there. Maybe eventually Metcalf maybe he gets moved. He's still very young, very talented. And then we have your pick here, Money, with Cam Akers. Talk to me. Was Cam Akers the guy that you were salivating at the mouth, kind of waiting for? Were you hoping that DK fell to you?
Not the guy. I was pretty much aiming for running back. I was aiming 2 receivers if they fell to me, Metcalf or Higgins. Once they went, it was pretty like nail in the coffin. I was going running back, and I predicted it pretty nicely. I knew one of these running backs that would be in my tier that I like would come around to me, and it came down to either I would have liked Barkley to be there. I would have took a swing on him. But it came down to Akers and Dobbins, man. And I was able to get them 1-2 in the next 2 rounds, which was fucking sweet. I want Cam Akers, proficient offense with the LA Rams. Blew out his Achilles, but came around same year, recovered like a maniac. He got like 17 carries in the playoffs, 2 targets in the playoffs each game. He didn't go off exactly like how you would expect, like a RB1-2, but I think he still got time to recover. Obviously, he's 23 years old. Not that much mileage on his tires since the injury happened, and I think he's got a lot of upside. So it was between Akers and Dobbins. So I went Akers. I think Dobbins was following me, but I ended up Dobbins following me to the next round. So
yeah.
Right. So Cam Akers there for you, Money, and then this is probably maybe the first out of the first couple of picks that I wasn't in love with for you, Baldy, but you went Kenneth Walker. And obviously we know he was the second running back off the board in terms of rookies. We know that Seattle, with their quarterback situation and with the great quarterback, they love to run the ball. So talk to me about this pick.
Yeah, only because he went to Seattle, where I don't think Chris Carson's going to – I don't even know if Chris Carson's going to come back. He has like kind of the same neck injury that Peyton Manning had, where it took him a whole year to recover. But that was a quarterback position. You know, Chris Carson reminds me of Terrell Davis, just a bruising running back, runs you over, very, very physical. And I just don't know if he's ever going to really come on the field, man. I can't see it. He's, you know, what I'm reading, he's not recovering he's not progressing very well still.
Right.
Now Rashad Penny came in at the end of the season and won people leagues. Kind of like Aquan St. Brown did. Just those are the two hot playoff pickups. They really, really were. They won people leagues outright. But like Brees Hall went to the Jets. Kenneth Walker just went to probably the heaviest run team in the NFL. Now, tough division. He's in a tough division. But in a dynasty league, especially a dynasty startup, one of my big rules is don't be afraid to take young guys early. Don't be afraid to take veterans late. So I like into the fourth round with the running back scoring the way it was. I wanted to lock in a solid, what I think a 3-down starter, another 3-down starter running back could be. Throw him in my flex, and I got my starting wide receiver running back core, bro. And then I started filling in my wide receivers as the league went.
Right. So you went Kenneth Walker, and then probably a surprising pick, at least from me. You got Let's Go Brandon, which another funny team. We're just gonna call it funny teams. That's what we're going to do. We're going to call them funny teams. Let's Go Brandon went Mahomes, which obviously you can't fuck that up there. Andrews, okay. And then Hurts, and then he turned around, he went Lawrence. I mean, I don't get it. The only way I get that is if Lawrence would have had to show me a little bit more. I get that he's had, he had a bunch of, the coaching staff and all these, ETN wasn't there. I don't know how the hell he ended up with Lawrence there, especially when he's already got two quarterbacks.
He had a terrible season. Like him and Fields had one of the worst seasons you could ever imagine. But he was like a generational type prospect. He wasn't like Andrew Luck or anything, but he was up there as a damn near can't miss prospect. So they're just shitting on Urban Meyer, saying, "Hey, Urban Meyer was a clown. Get him out of here. He'll do better. Got some more weapons. Peterson will kind of build up his confidence a little bit." So I can see that's why he picked him. But as a QB3 in his lineup, I don't get that. But I can see why Trevor Lawrence going round 4 because I was looking to get him with my 4th pick, but
the pick.
Yeah, with the next pick. But I mean, I get it. But QB3, that's a little much. But I don't know.
That was a luxury pick there. I don't understand it, but I guess he's already traded his first to Baldy, which was that's another conversation. Baldy was very strategic.
Funny. We'll call that funny too, bro.
Yeah,
I love dude. And if he finishes last in the league, woo, my boy Bijan Robinson's going to be on my roster.
Bijan, come on up.
Bro, hey, if that happens, we're all out. There's some shit. I'm out, bro. I'm out. That's so terrible.
It sounds like an inside job, dog.
He's
bro,
like,
totally,
I'm out
bro.
like shout, bro.
No.
This fool
Brandon
traded his picks.
Probably your second account. That's what Brandon's like.
He traded his picks, and then he drafted 3. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my God! But, okay, let's go. Let's move along. We got Aaron Jones again. This is okay. So this is what I mean by if you're going to win now, I think this is probably the best you can probably do it. I mean, Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams. This was gold. And then you had Fields, which obviously the trade there. So he obviously didn't love, anybody here in terms of win now, which I get. Next pick, you got DJ. I don't know. I'm a lover of DJ, but DJ Moore was still there. But nevertheless, any given Sunday traded, he got Fields. And then DJ, whom I love, was picked by Let's Go Brandon. We're just going to pass on his team. Bald guy, you're up next. You got your guy DJ Moore. Talk to me. Were you loving this pick? Were you thinking about going a Dobbins here or Montgomery?
Oh, no. I love for my first wide receiver to lead my team. I love DJ Moore. Flo knows that. I've always been a DJ Moore truther. He's 24 years old. He's a perfect wide receiver one for Dynasty. I don't think Sam Darnold's going to be tossing the rock. I think Matt Corral is going to take that ship, take that team over. So I'm very, very happy with that pick.
Nice. Yeah, I think that was. I mean, to get him in the 5th round, he's obviously super
in the
young,
5th round.
super talented. I've had plenty of shares with him and plenty of my redraft leagues where he's popped off. But yeah, great pick there. Dobbins, you went Watson, Kyle Pitts, AJ Brown,
Happy.
and then Akers and Dobby. Talk to me.
Yeah,
Talk to me about the Dobbins pick. Was it always going to be Dobbins?
Yeah, pretty much. Once those two receivers that went before me went off, I waited 3 rounds to get my running back. So I was glad I pounded just with 1, 2 Dobbins, Akers. They do have previous injuries, but they can just fucking deliver some fantasy points. With the Ravens, I'm pretty sure they'll be more of a run first team with Hollywood Brown leaving. But he does have that injury. That's the only thing that's holding these guys back. I love that he came back around to me. I wasn't really going to reach for a quarterback here. I wanted to, but like Wilson, Tua, Derek Carr, a little older cousins, maybe I would have waited. Yeah, I couldn't go quarterback here. I like this was the best running back on my list right now, and the receiver, I could have reached for one of the older guys, but I ended up waiting a little bit longer, and I feel like it worked out for me. So I'm glad I got JK here. Yeah, I think I killed it with how I waited. So I like first 5 picks. I'm
good
kind of myself on the back. I like it.
So
Good job,
Dobbins, great pick. Two super talented running backs, young running backs you got there. Obviously, they were both hurt in the last year or so, but great picks there. Then we went David Montgomery, Swami. He's got Burrow, Swift, Stafford, Metcalf, Montgomery. So yeah, I mean a good team there in terms of win now. It still has flexibility for long term as well. Then you talk to me, Lojo. You went Zach Wilson, which is pretty. I mean, kind of controversial there. Tua went right after him. Were you always thinking him? Did you say fuck it? You know what, Zach's my boy. You there, Flojo?
Flo.
All right, cool. We'll move along.
I was thinking about Zach Wilson in my previous pick there, but I thought maybe I could get him in the next round and end up getting him again.
So
I think I remember typing you in real time. I was like, oh
yeah.
Man, he got Zach Wilson. So
Talk to me,
wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think I cut out. So that Dobbins pick kind of put me on tilt. I was a little disappointed. I'm not as big as a fan as Baldy stacking running back and quarterback. To be honest, I still might have punted. They didn't pick up Monty's 5th-year option. I'm a little worried about what's going to happen in Chicago, or else that would have been a consideration. Obviously, both gone. It was a quarterback for me. I had Zach Wilson over Tua since day one last year. I'm a big believer in the kid's talent and the kid's tape. What the Jets did in the draft was like the cherry on top, right? They won the draft. They brought in Breece Hall. They got Garrett Wilson. They already had Elijah Moore. They brought in Uzama. Like the Jets, they improved the O-line. And the Jets are doing, and it's Robert Saleh from the Niners. I'm a Niners fan. So, like, I know where this dude's coming from. I know what he's trying to do. I respect him as a coach. So, to me, man, the upside is there. Yes. Is it sketchy? Do I feel great? Absolutely not. I'm a little bummed that my boy Money got Cam Akers. I would have taken Cam Akers, by the way, bro, but I have Cam Akers in like 3 Dynasty leagues. So, as hard as it was for me to pass on him, yeah, as hard as it was for me to pass on him, like I had to diversify, bro. Like that's been, I'm an all-in kind of guy, right? So for me to diversify, it's really hard, but I know it's the right thing to do, especially when you play in a lot of leagues. But going back to Zach Wilson, man, yeah, dude, I like his upside. Is it sketchy? Yes. Do I feel great about it? I'll probably end up sending my one for Kyler Murray or sometime coming up here, but we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out.
Oh, is that what's rumbling underground?
I hear the whispers.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, next pick was Tua, and then I mean, for a lot of the things that you just said about Zach Wilson, maybe not so through the draft as much, but in free agency, they basically said they're all in. They want to see what the hell they got in Tua. They got traded him for a Tyreek Hill. They got a Cedric Wilson that was kind of trending upwards for the Dallas Cowboys. I had to mention the Dallas Cowboys. And then you got a couple running backs, right? Chase Edmonds. So they surrounded him with talent as well. So we'll see what happens with Tua. I talked to Money as well. Like, I mean, damn, should I pick Tua? He's on my radar. I think we did a mock draft. I picked Tua as well. So we'll see what happens there. Scary Terry in a trade went to Ryan's side. I just called him Ryan. I think I called him Ryan's side all draft. But Scary Terry, he went there in the trade. And then you had George Kittle going to Gucci. And that's what kind of reminded me, okay, yeah, he's a Niner fan. Chase, Lance, Waddle, Barkley, Kittle. So, I mean, good team. This is a great start, honestly. If you believe in Trey Lance, then this is a good start. And then next, this is me mortgaging pretty much the now for the future. I didn't have a pick until like the 50th round. Derek Carr. Derek Carr went to Trust. Obviously, continuing that win now. I sold my picks. And then Swami traded for D Hop, which I loved. But then I found out that, I traded for his pick, so I didn't love it in the end. I love because he
An hour
kept
later.
D Hop. That was the end of
Yeah.
its here. He kept him away from Trust. But then Trust ended up getting a Fournette, which was a great pick as well for in terms of win now. So Trust started off with Russell Wilson, quarterback, Najee Harris, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, Fournette. I mean, that's pretty solid.
pretty
If you're
good.
gonna win now. I'm not
Mhm.
counting on that being a high pick. So that's what
You want to
that's
talk
it.
about? You want to talk about your trade and what you did for?
Yeah. So I mean, so
Real quick.
basically, this is my first fantasy draft or dynasty draft. So I kind of want to have some fun with it. Trust and he hit me up. We were in some serious negotiations for like 2 to 3 days. This wasn't like a knee jerk overnight thing. We were kind of like trading concession for concession. What do I want? What do we want? And then finally, he offered a deal, and I was like, I talked to money. I was like, you know what? This is I'm okay with this. At first, he was trying to get like a trade swap 1-2 or whatever it was, and a third and fourth, and that was too much. And then I was asking for too much, so I was okay with it. After the draft, considering the range in which I gave away, I was okay with it because I felt like in that range there was a lot of win now players, and that's not where I was shooting for. Like a Fournette, D Hop, Carr. I mean, all these guys. Obviously, Kittle can be both. He's got flexibility with his age. You know, Mike Evans. Like this was a great range for win now players. So I was okay with it. So obviously a huge risk there in terms of making that big trade. But now that we've gone to the 5 rounds, we're at about the hour mark. Let's just really quickly. We're going to start off kind of in that linear snake draft. Tell me your favorite guy outside of the 5th round that you drafted that you're excited about that value. We'll start off with Bald Guy.
Cortland Sutton in the 8th. 8 on the back of the 8th, 8.10. Russell Wilson coming in. Dude has one of the best highlight tapes I've ever seen when he had Drew Lock, because Drew Lock makes trash passes. So he had to have some amazing highlight catches.
Right. All right. So we know that Cortland Sutton was his guy. Talk to me, money. We'll go with you. Or there he is, Ball Guy.
You guys-
Cortland Sutton is your guy.
You're back now.
Yeah, for my wide receiver 2, and it got him in the back of the 8th, almost going to the 9th round. I absolutely love that pick. He has wide receiver 1 upside this year with Russ coming in, and I'm happy with it, man. That's probably one of my favorite picks all the entire draft. Got Cortland Sutton in the 9th as my wide receiver 2.
Yeah, that was a good pick. Obviously, Russell Wilson definitely changes a lot of things for Denver. So next we'll go just staying along the line. Money. Tell me, outside of the top 5, who was your baby? Who was your favorite pick of the draft?
It's a close one. One of them I didn't think I'd pick them, but I had to. This one, I'll go with, kind of decided the direction I was going to go with my draft, which was my 6th-round pick, Treylon Burks. Him and Drake London are damn near tied for my first receiver out of this class. He's replacing one of my receivers that I drafted, AJ Brown, to the Titans. I think he'll get fucking 200 catches this year. He might run the ball with this motherfucker. He's going to get a lot of targets, a lot of points, hopefully. I kind of decided the direction I was going to go with my draft. I like Treylon Burks coming out of Arkansas. His butt kind of died down a little bit on the biggest year, his last year coming out. And then a little honorable mention to TJ Hawkinson. I already had Kyle Pitts. I didn't think I was going to pick a tight end 2 this early. I don't know why I couldn't deny that value. But he's a trade chip. So any of you guys out in the West versus East League, if you guys want to honor a little 1st-round pick for TJ Hawkinson as your tight end, I'm all open.
Nice. All right. So Flojo, talk to me. Outside of the top 5 rounds, who was the guy that you were just salivating at the mouth you couldn't believe that you got?
Can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. So it's a combination of a couple. Obviously, Hollywood, after the D-Hop news, I was super pumped to get him, but I think I went into panic mode to get my RB2, and I traded a couple picks away, and I got kind of hedged out. because I was trying to work a deal actually to get Lenny, and my man said that you ain't getting Lenny, so I was like, all right, I'll take Elijah.
Yeah.
I'm a Niner fan, so like it's cool. I believe I got Davis Price, so I feel
You
like I'm
did.
cuffed up, I'm solidified, but I just like I had to make a move at my RB2 for me, roster construction and how my brain works. Like if like for homeboy any given, right? No QBs, like I can't function like that, bro. Like the super flex league,
Yeah.
I need
Yeah,
I
I
need to
know.
have a QB to like solidify my squad, and my brain just doesn't work well. And I even told you, Don, like I like to be cuffed up. I want to be safe, bro. I want to have a blanket. I want to snuggle at night, and that's kind of
Right.
how, especially in dynasty leagues, I like to operate. You know what I'm saying? Just because I just it's just comforting. I like to be
No doubt.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd say it'd be Hollywood Brown after the D-Hop news. He's still young. He's going to Kyler, top 2 deep ball accuracy in the NFL, I think, behind Brady last year. I know he had some drops, but like, dude, my 3 receiving core, my top 3 guys, I feel great about. So I'd say Hollywood Brown, and then I don't even know what the bottom of the rest of my team looks like from here, but I go Hollywood.
Nice.
I
think
good pick. Good pick.
Yeah, it was a good pick. I think for me, probably outside of 5 round and not going too deep, because Lord knows I didn't have a pick for like 8 rounds. Gabriel Davis, that's a guy that I really
Ooh.
loved.
Yeah,
I really
I do
love. I
too.
mean, just speaking to being associated with a guy like Josh Allen, who was drafted 1-1, guy's going to be there for a long, long time. We've seen what Gabriel Davis, his production, obviously it was all, I mean, he had the hype there, but the production wasn't there. And then when we see what happened towards the end of the season, Diggs was more or less, he was like a decoy. And Davis and Cole Beasley, and they were pretty much eating up. And then I think Beasley, he's not on the team. Obviously, they have like Isaiah McKenzie there. I think they signed Jamison Crowder, but we know what happened. I think he's on the Bills, but we know what his history is in terms of injuries. I mean, we know what Josh Allen's arm is. Gabriel Davis, I love him towards the end of the 9th round. And then probably, I guess, a later pick. Probably doesn't mean shit. He's really later, but I think I talked to you, Flo Joe. I think I talked to you, Money. Ty Chandler, talking about the Dalvin Cook scenario. This guy could potentially be gone in a year or 2. In terms of he could be a cap casualty. Alexander Madison, for as good as he has been, I mean, you have a Dalvin Cook next year. Very much, he's only on the contract for another year, meaning Madison. There's no way in hell why would they sign him again when they drafted a Ty Chandler. Ty Chandler, I think he had the second fastest 40 time in terms of running back, running a 4.3 something. You can't teach speed, right? So Ty Chandler, I forgot what round. It was probably like 26th, 25th. But yeah, that's all I had. I appreciate you guys jumping on the episode and guys showing us your football knowledge and kind of navigating through this draft. Thank you again for inviting us to your league, Fantasy Football Guy. If you guys have not, follow these guys here, Fantasy Football Guy and Fantasy Flow Joe. Thanks, guys, for joining in on this episode of the Average Joe Sports Podcast. I'm sure you guys will be here as frequent. Frequent. You guys will frequent the show. So thank you guys.
This was fun, man. Thanks for having us.
Sure, man. Yeah, thanks a lot, bro.
Absolutely. So with that being said, we are out.
Later, boys.
Guys.
Excuse me.